Hello. Okay, so welcome to, I don't even know, episode 4 or episode 5? Okay, no, let me just get that again. Welcome, guys, to season 2. So I have 2 wonderful guests with me. You've got Shani on my right. I was trying to figure out which one was my left and my right. And I got Hollie Dee on my left. Hey. So welcome, guys, to the outside, the Great British Summer. And I've got Hollie Dee to kind of talk about poetry, just have a conversation really, and then catch up with Charnjit, because obviously she's no stranger to the podcast, right? So essentially our home right now, right? Do you feel comfortable?
Yeah, I'm comfortable.
Yeah, cool.
We're in good company.
Exactly.
Good.
So you guys have done a lot of really cool things so far this year. But before we go into that, how are you guys? Are you guys feeling good? You excited about, we're going to see George later?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm excited about that. I'm
You got
excited to be here, be with you, catch
Yeah.
up. And the sun, like we have the sunshine. Like life is good.
Life is good. So let's see, where shall we start? Actually, tell me who Hollie Dee is, actually. For the people that don't know who Hollie Dee is.
Hollie Dee,
Without reciting the poem.
without yeah, that my intro poem.
Yeah.
Hollie Dee is a woman from Essex who is a poet. She's an artist. She's a dancer. She's a creative. She's a free spirit. Dog lover. I love a good walk down the beach. Yeah, I'm just a little free spirit. I just love all my friends, love catch-ups. Yeah, I think that's a little me in a nutshell, I guess.
That's true. Speaking of dogs, what dogs do you have?
I have 2 American hairless terriers.
Hairless. Are they completely like bald?
They're completely bald, yeah.
Okay, I don't know what that looks like.
Yeah, what are the dogs called?
American hairless terriers, or AHT for short.
Yeah.
So stick it in a search engine, and they're like a little Jack Russell, so about this big. They're not
Okay.
very tall, but they're just hairless. They're just
Okay.
born with.
What have you named them?
We've got one called Lola, so she's 13.
Okay.
Oh, it was her birthday a couple of weeks
Oh,
ago.
bless her. Happy birthday, Lola.
Lola. And Magic is 11, so yeah.
Oh, I like
little
Magic,
boy.
the name Magic.
Magic.
How did you come up with those names?
My mum named Lola. I don't know why, but yeah, she's just
She's a
very.
Lola.
She's a Lola. She's very sassy.
Okay.
Does her own thing. Doesn't listen to you. Yeah, she's funny. And then Magic. We rescued Magic from someone in
bless.
Sheffield, and he was called Buddy before, and it just didn't feel right. And then we tried all these names, and we wanted to give him like a real, I don't know, like a really strong name. And he's just so like, I don't know, he's just a little nervous wreck. He's so like shy and scared, and we were like, he just needs a little name. So Magic just was sweet.
Do you find that ever since rescuing him, has he come out more out of his shell? Because obviously they have that kind of like mindset where they're just kind of like scared of everything.
Yeah, like you've taken me out of my home and put me somewhere else.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was in a home where they had like, I don't know, the guy had like 10 dogs in a small flat, and he'd never been, he never had a collar on, never been on a lead. So when we got him, we had to take him to a dog trainer because he was really like fear aggressive.
Okay.
It was so sad. So I was quite scared of him at the beginning. He'd growl quite a lot, but it was just out of a fear.
Yeah.
And once we
He's
took him
mellowed over time.
yeah, took him to the dog trainer, and just like with Lola, you can like rough her up. I've had her from a puppy, so you can play with her, rough her up a bit, like how dogs like to play. But with him, you've got to be really gentle. Like he's a little gentle soul, so like just being really slow with him, and like he likes little cuddles and everything done very slowly around him, and then he's fine. So they're
cool.
2 very different personalities. She kind of bullies him a little bit.
And they're used to occupying the same space, because I know dogs get territorial.
Yeah, I think he would love to be her bestie, and she just doesn't really like him.
Okay.
So if we take him out for the day, say like, I don't know, I'll go for a walk with him, my mum will have Lola for the day. We come back in the house, he's so happy to see her, and she looks at him like, oh,
You again.
you're back. Like, yeah, she was kind of hoping he wouldn't come back.
The queen of the house.
Yeah. Every now and again, there's little moments where they actually sit together and touch, and we're like, oh, quick, look, they're close, Where he's kind of like got close to her, and she's like, I'm too tired to like tell you to go away. So there's little
that's
moments where they're friends.
Yeah. What's it like being a dog mum, and how long have you been a dog mum?
Oh, I guess because they're family dogs. They started off with my mum,
Okay.
but now we all live together. I'm now really stepping into dog mum life.
Yeah.
I love it. It's lovely.
Yeah. Have you had dogs when you were younger, when you were like
no,
kids?
no,
So
no.
it's the first time.
Yeah,
Okay.
so you're making up for it now.
Yeah, no. As a kid, I had a frog. I had
That's what's interesting.
I had a white tree frog called Fergal. I had rats. I had two
Wow.
rats, Biffo and Super So. They had really weird names. Yeah, I had really like unusual pets as a kid. I had house rabbits.
Okay, rabbits. I'm used to people having
Yeah,
rabbits,
they
but
were
frogs and
fun.
rats.
The frog was lovely. The rats are amazing.
Who got you the rats? Like, whose idea was to get rats? I'm just,
I wanted rats. My mum was like, okay, yeah.
Okay, so it was
your
your idea.
idea.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. I think I'd seen them on like a TV show, and I was like, wow, you can have rats
Okay.
as pets. But they're so intelligent. I think
Yeah.
we all had this, I don't know, attachment to like rats.
Yeah.
I don't know, street
They've
rats.
got bad rep.
They've got
got
bad
bad rep,
they've got bad
yeah.
rep,
Yeah.
but I don't know. Pet rats, very intelligent, very sweet.
Obviously
Like they'll
'cause they're
sit on your shoulder, whereas if you had a hamster, the hamster would just like.
And they're
walk
clean
just-
because they're yours, because they're
Yeah,
domestic. so-
exactly. Yeah, I love them. So yeah, dogs are a new thing.
Cool.
These were the first dogs we've had, so.
And also, I think there's something about dogs because obviously you have to kind of like actively walk them outside. It just usually dog owners I know that take them out for walks, that go out for walks, like love that thing about just taking time, being in nature. And it's a very good routine to have.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, but like with cat owners, it's a little bit different. I know some cat owners. Nidafa is one, and she loves being a cat mum and cats are, and even Simon J. Keevan's got cats. So there's being a cat parent is so much different from
Very
being a
different. Very
dog
different.
parent. Would you ever get a cat?
Oh, do you know I would, but I'm allergic.
Oh really?
Yeah, which is why we've got hairless dogs, because I've got a cat and dog allergy. And I did some hardcore research, and I was like, wow, you get hairless dogs. Who knew? Which is why we went for this breed. But if I wasn't allergic, I would definitely have cats.
Okay. How did you find out you were allergic? Like you were just young and you just like.
Yeah, just being around dogs or cats, like sneezing, wheezing, rashes. Yeah, it wasn't pretty.
That's cool. Charlie, do you have cats or dogs?
No, I'm not a pet
No
person
pet
really.
person, okay.
Not a pet person, no, not really. We used to have a dog when we were younger,
Yeah.
but after I was born, it was really jealous of the attention. Obviously, as a baby, I had no idea. I'd find out that kind of stuff afterwards. But it would run away a lot, and all the rest of it is it's very difficult.
Okay.
So yeah.
So you're too young to like have memories with the dog.
No, yeah, don't remember any of it really.
I've looked after my neighbour's cat, Smudge. R.I.P. Smudge.
Cute name for a cat.
Yeah, Smudge. It is a really good name. I was suggested it to Oya when she got a cat, but R.I.P. because it's gone now, unfortunately. But it's in the garden, so you could up by the tree. Which is a really cool place. So I pay my respects sometimes when I'm in the garden. But yeah, like apart from Hollie Dee being a dog parent, a dog mum, yeah. She's a poet. So you've been in the poetry scene for about what 3-4 years? Maybe. I say that high pitched, like
20. End of
to put a date
28.
on
Yeah,
it now,
end of 2018.
Okay.
2019. I think the first time I ever shared anything out loud was in 2018 at a little open read in Southend at this little cafe. And there was only like 5 people there, and 3 were my friends.
good
so
start.
it's a good
That's a
start.
good start. It's better than most people. Like
My friend's phone went off in the middle of it. It was just, everything you're trying to read. I was reading off a book. I was like, this is
Oh,
so
really?
scary. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
really scary. And then a lady there who ran it, I'd performed a couple of mental health pieces, and she's like, oh, I've got a stage at a festival called the Village Green that's in Southend. I'd love you to come and perform there. And I was like, well, okay. So I jumped from 5 people to performing there to like 45 people, which was amazing. And then I didn't touch it again until COVID, and then obviously met you.
Yeah, I remember
And
meeting
you like on Zooms and things.
Yeah, I think Zooms, Instagram lives maybe, but I think
Yes.
the first time I saw you in person that I remember was like Poetics in the farm.
Yeah. Yes.
And
wow.
I was like starstruck, not like you know like how like I've been seeing all of you guys like online and stuff, and then obviously lockdown ended, and I was like, how do I introduce myself to people?
Oh.
And because I'm
You don't need to people come up to you.
Yeah.
Like, hi, I'm so and so.
yeah, but it's like you
I
don't
think I
need.
did the equivalent
Yeah.
to when we were at Mind Over Matter.
Really?
I can't remember who was
Yeah.
headlining that day. I think it was Rianne and
Oh wow, that time with like Molly was there and
Yeah.
and Mr. Alden Allen.
Mr. Alden Allen.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I remember. See, I've got the
We
video.
had a conversation that
Yeah.
night.
Oh wow.
That's crazy.
Okay. That's wow. That bringing me back.
But isn't it funny though? Like we all felt that shy because I remember seeing you being like, "Oh, that's Metaforecast." Like, do I say hello? Because I'm quite introverted in big social spaces. So I'm
I
like,
think everyone has that kind of starstruck moment, and you can be like 85% sure that is that person, but you're like, I just need to go and double check. Hi, I'm so and so. Are you so and so?
It's funny the idea of introductions because obviously I know your name is Holly and I
Yeah.
guess people know your name as well.
Yeah.
But like you feel like that's what you have to say to break the ice. Like,
Yeah.
hi, you Hollie Dee, and you're like, yeah, and then and I was just like, it's so weird because obviously I think it was a lot of those early days were like I was meeting people for the first time. A lot of people that for the first time that night. So like, oh, like I think Lay, I met him like maybe twice before that time, and Lay was there, and meeting Chloe Carter there for the first time as well. But yeah, I remember. I think you did perform that night as well, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah.
And
Was
that
that when
really
it was Neelofer headlining?
cool. Maybe.
I remember going to one where Neelofer headlined as well and being like, that's Neelofer. And then I went to the toilet and she was going in after me and she was like, oh, I really liked your poem. And I was like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm a big fan.
Once you have that needle for co-sign, I'm like, yay!
But yeah, that weird, that, I don't know, just seeing everybody over that period of time, online and then getting to meet everyone in real life was pretty special.
Yeah. And so, like, do you remember the first poem you performed? Like, what was? You said you read it from a book.
Yeah, the first poem I performed. So at that open read, I think I shared 3. But the first one, it was one of the first ones I wrote was Laptop, which is, I haven't performed it for ages, just about like my dad and my brother's illness and like, how
I that BYB once.
Yeah, I navigated that.
Yeah.
But I
love how
that,
you can say a title, we know exactly what you're talking
Laptop.
about.
Yeah, my titles aren't very like, they're all just words.
No, but yeah, that's the thing. I think you've got I don't know if you're aware, but you do have a brand to yourself that is very like when I hear your pieces, I know they're mental health pieces or pieces to make people feel good about themselves, and that they shouldn't feel like any guilt or shame about just being themselves or going through what they're going
And then
through.
when you're angry, you have your more political things. So it's very in keeping with how everyone's feeling. I think that's important.
Yeah.
It's relevant, definitely.
Exactly, and like I think what people remember from you is like just what you bring to your performances is kind of like this like light bringing, Holly giving, just like I like Holly is like equals sunshine, like so it's like Hollie Dee, Sunny Dee, kind of thing where like people just feel better about hearing a Hollie Dee piece, whether that be PA or glue. So it's just like, what is the driving force between writing poems, like for you writing poems that make people feel good about themselves or addressing certain things? Like what's
the drive? I guess the initial drive was writing it for myself and like processing that stuff. And it's nice writing pieces that are about like self-awareness and like that inner inquiry and mental health thing, like pieces really delving into that. But there's something really special when you share it. It's almost like, for me, it's almost a process of healing. It's like every time I share it, I feel like I heal that little bit more. And then when people come up to you and they're like, wow, I really connected with that piece, you're like, oh wow, maybe this was the reason, not necessarily I wrote it for myself, but that it was supposed to transmute something to help other people.
Yeah, for sure.
I think, because the thing is, sometimes I think that self-inquiry is you think that you're the only person thinking like that or B feeling like that. And then when it's relevant to your own experience and then you go out and share it and someone else is like, yeah, I resonated with that because I had that like 6 months ago or 3 weeks ago, or I'm in the midst of it and you've just kind of answered my question. I think stuff like that is really powerful.
Yeah, special. And there's something super special in being able to put words to feelings, situations, events that other people aren't able to, and that they can connect in that way. There's a
because if you can't articulate it yourself and you see someone else articulate it for you, of course you're going to resonate with that.
Yeah, like I think PA was one that came up quite a few times because that's one of my older pieces. So one of the things
that's
I
the
used
one
to
I kind of
perform.
got to know you through.
Yeah, at the beginning, and I had a few people come up saying, "Oh, Jo, I've never been able to put like my anxiety or like that spinning kind of catastrophizing thing that goes on in my head. I can't explain that to people, and I'd love to like." And this was back before I had Instagram, before I'd written anything down. I was still super new, and they were like, "Oh, have you got it anywhere? Because I'd love to show like my family or my friends, because to help them understand this is how I feel." And I was like, "Oh, no, I don't." And then I was like, "Oh, maybe I need to start sharing it and document it." And then I started Instagram and grew it from there. But yeah, it's been quite a journey, and it's definitely like my writing has changed with that knowledge as well. I think I feel like I have a bit more responsibility. I write for myself, but I'm now also there's a bigger purpose for writing and sharing.
Yeah. So in terms of like you call it, well, I call it a poetry journey as well. Like, what are like your highlights so far? Like, is there things like, oh wow, I can't believe I did that, or I got to meet this person, or oh I did this event or this festival, like?
Yeah. Oh wow, that's a really good question.
I like to ask that.
Yeah.
Hard question.
Oh, I wasn't prepared. I guess my first highlight would be being asked to perform at the Village Green.
Oh, cool. That was like one of your first things.
One of my first performances. And I remember I got, it wasn't a lot, but I got paid and I got a free ticket, and I was like, whoa.
This is a thing.
This is a thing. Like,
yeah.
And yeah, performing to like 45 people, and I was so nervous. And that thing of like, I had the mic and I was just shaking. I was like, ah. Performing there, that was an absolute highlight. And what was funny was, you know the band Busted, right?
Yeah, I love Busted.
So Busted were headlining. Busted were headlining.
That's so cool.
Headlining Village Green, and the way the poster had been written, it was like Busted, and then all these other artists, and then my name was like, because it was a long banner, I was like right underneath them. Yeah, like there.
Did you get to keep that? Did you take a picture of it?
Oh yeah, I've got it somewhere. My friends were like, "Wow, you're written under Busted," and I was like, "This is crazy." Yeah. I mean, I wasn't on the main stage; it was a separate tent, but it was a little weird moment.
You're on the poster.
It was so surreal. I was like, "Wow, this is a thing." Yeah. And then I didn't touch it again for like a year. It was weird, but that was like, I guess, the first highlight. Then other highlights have been, I guess, most recently, I really, really love doing Grooveverse. I think that's one of my absolute
I love Grooveverse.
highlights of. We all talk about this like flow state you get into, like when you're performing, and being with a band and it being unrehearsed and everything just like lining up.
Yeah, I was gonna say, tell the good people who don't know Grooveverse, how would you pitch it to someone to come?
Oh, Grooveverse. So it's spoken word and improvised jazz music. And
That's a pretty succinct way of putting it.
And it's incredible. Yeah. And I remember I would always go, and it was something like every month I'd make sure I would go just to watch. And I was like, one day. And then I wrote it on my little manifesting list I did at the beginning of last year. So what are we now?
23.
Oh, so beginning of 2022, like in January, I always write myself like a list of like things I would love to achieve, little dream list. And performing on Grooveverse was on there. So the fact that I got to tick that off, because I did their open mic night, so I won the competition in December, and I'm like, oh, with like 2 weeks to go, I managed to tick it off for the year, and then I got to do the headline in the January. So that was an absolute.
What was it about the venue or the event, or that made you want to be like, okay, I really want to perform here?
The event just has this real amazing energy about it anyway. And I think I was at this point with my poetry, like I really enjoy performing, and I was like, this is going to be like the next challenge.
Like the next level.
And every time I watched it and the poets that would be on and the people who would headline, I was like, wow, like this is where I want to be, like
so
this is the next goal. So I think that was the call, thinking that's going to be really scary to do, and I really want to give it a go.
And it's so fun, right? Have you been to Grooveverse, right?
I think it's one of those things that after you've done it, I bet you felt really satisfied, relieved that it's done now.
And it brought up like my biggest insecurity, I guess, is like I love to be so prepared. So I like to like rehearse and drill, and that comes from like my dance training of, you need to be doing it in such a space where you don't even have to think. You just do and you just be. And that was so out of my comfort zone because I didn't know the people in the band. I didn't know what they were going to play, how they were going to
Really just
read my
yeah.
poem,
Yeah.
and was it going to be in time? Were people going to get it, or is my voice too, like, there was no rehearsal, and for me that was like super scary. I remember standing on the stage being like, that mixture of like, anxiety and stress and pure excitement and like exhilaration, like blended together. I'm here doing it and I'm so scared. Yeah, amazing.
Do you think, is that part of its appeal, is that because, you're used to being, so well rehearsed and well prepared, that kind of gives it a risk of like excitement, danger, and just kind of like living off the cuff and just it's so spontaneous, like it's it's just magic.
Yeah, that is the word. It was magic, and when it finished I was just like, wow. And I felt like we'd rehearsed it. It felt like it'd been rehearsed because it was just so, it was just so beautiful. And watching it back, it's something I'm super proud of, like the footage. I'm like, I want to do more of this, so yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, good highlight.
Yeah.
You've been on the Grooveverse stage?
No, I haven't. No,
Okay.
I haven't. Not yet.
Is that something on your list?
It's one of the events that I want to check out. It's one of the events that I want to go and see. Yeah.
It's definitely worth going at least
definitely.
once.
I always get a bit of FOMO when I watch all the videos back online, but it's incredible.
So that was one of the many highs. Like, I know you're a flow poet as well.
Mm-hmm.
So like, what was the flow poet experience, and like, leading up to like you being one,
Yeah.
going to flow vortex?
So that was a nice like transition. I guess I found out about, obviously I knew the flow poets on the scene, and again it's almost like that was something I'd written down on that same list. I was like, I would love to be a part of the Flow Poets collective. I love this idea of being in a collective, and again that goes back to being in a dance company. I don't know, I get a real sense of fulfillment out of being in like that family environment and being with a group of people. I think it just magnifies everything. It's a really beautiful experience to have. And I was like, this is like another goal. And like, I super respect the flow assist anyway. Like, I'm familiar with her and her work from when I was younger, poetry. I was like, wow, I didn't realise like
That's the thing.
that's the thing. And she has this collective of poets. So I started going to Flow Vortex, doing the open mics, and it was just such a vibe. And I remember thinking, wow, it was so buzzy. And the pieces I shared each time, I think when I was there I was showing more political stuff then, and like my poetry kind of shifted into more the political style and side of things. And yeah, it just was amazing. And then I got chatting to Flo, and I think I'd been to a few events, and she'd asked if I'd be interested in joining, and I was like, thank you. Tick it off my list for the end of the year.
Seems like you just manifest things.
Yeah,
like,
I was working
put it in my vision board.
Work my way down my list.
Have it done
Tick,
by the
tick.
end of the year.
Yeah, so I was super happy, and then I went along to some writing sessions. She runs some amazing free writing sessions and different kind of workshop style things, which are really, really good. Nice way to like hone your craft, and things that are really uncomfortable for me to do because I've always written just for myself. So to sit and do a free write was horrible. I remember just sitting there with my pen and everyone's going, shh, and I'm like, come on, just write something. Like, it was really made me feel really vulnerable, but yeah, really, really good practice. And then there's been some events that have come up, and obviously she'll supply the poets for events. So yeah, that's been a really nice nice transition. So yeah, that's that.
In terms of like, because your dance background and stuff, like, I want to delve deeper into that in terms of like how you got started into dance, and like what is like the main, like, I don't know if you specialize in a certain genre of dance, or like where did you learn and stuff? What was the origin story of that?
Story. So I started dancing when I was
the dancing poet.
the dancing
poet.
Hollie Dee, the dancing poet. I'm just gonna put that as a title.
Yeah, it's like, it feels like another life. It feels like my life before. So I started dancing when I was about 11, like doing ballet and jazz. And then I think when I was at school, I didn't want to do sixth form. I didn't want to go to college. I wanted to go to dance college. Like, that was like the goal. So auditioned. I went to a place called Masters Performing Arts College in Rayleigh in Essex, and it was just, I just lived my best life. I was one of the youngest. A lot of the people in my year were in their 20s, and I was like 15, just turning 16, so I was really quite young. So yeah, 3 years of dancing Monday to Friday, 8 till 6, intensely.
That sounds intense.
Yeah, really, really cool. And then I got my first job. I was actually still at college, and then I started doing some stunt work randomly on the side when I was about 17 for Harry Potter. So I was doing half at dance college, and I was doing maybe a day or two a week up at the studio filming.
Okay.
So I was juggling the two, and I was around 17.
So which
18.
movie were you in?
The third, The Prisoner of Azkaban.
Okay. So like, do you know the frame? Like what
Yeah.
minute we should pause at just to see you?
And it's literally seconds long, and I'm like, I was doing that for like 3 weeks, filming, and it's like, my
For a
mum
few
was
seconds.
like, oh,
That's it.
that was it? And I'm like, yep,
Yeah.
that was it.
That took 3 weeks, Mum. That took 3 weeks.
The magic of film.
Yeah.
I flew the hippogriffs. I was in the scene, so I was Emma Watson's stunt double Hermione.
Oh wow.
So it was when they jump on the hippogriff and it flies off. And yeah, it was a lot of filming, and then
That's cool.
for seconds of a snippet. But I did other stuff as well. I did like Quidditch in the Rain test,
Oh, cool.
stunt testing. So for them to kind of get the costume right and all the camera angles right before they put the actors or the stunt team on the. So I was the guinea pig. But I had the best time. So between that and dance college, and then when I left, I discovered street dance and hip hop and break dancing.
Yeah.
Cool.
And I was like, I didn't know this was a thing. Like, why have I been doing ballet all this time?
Ballet is cool.
Ballet's
Yeah.
cool. Ballet has its place, but my
You missed
body.
the Save the Last Dance era.
Get your Channing Tatum moment.
Yes.
Like Dance in the Rain or something. Nah, that's really cool.
I'd love to have been in that film. Oh, so yeah, so I did like lots of random little dance jobs, and then I discovered this dance company called Boy Blue Entertainment, and they were holding auditions for a show called Pied Piper, and this was in 2006, and I was like, I really want to dance for this company, like this is the company. And I remember auditioning for them, and it was like, I was working in retail, and I was that brave that I gave my notice in, and I was like, can I take this back if I don't get this audition? And she's like, yeah, you can retract it. I said, I just want to do it now because I'm hoping if I get it, then I can start. And she was like, oh, okay. So it was really weird that I got that, but I was like, here's my notice because I'm gonna get this
That's
audition.
a really brave thing to
Yeah,
do.
it is, isn't
Yeah.
it?
That takes some guts.
And then to be like, but can I
To
come back if I
yourself.
don't get
No,
it?
but honestly, to back yourself, early stages,
Yeah.
that early in your career, and it's really like high risk. I respect that.
High
I
risk.
respect that.
Yeah.
So
As
I
you get older,
auditioned.
you lose that sense of bravery.
Yeah,
isn't it?
it's so true. You do.
You
Now
do.
I would be like, oh, I'd be like weighing up I'd be writing a pros and cons list. But back then I
You
was
would,
writing my
isn't it? When you're
resignation.
younger, you'd be like, sod it, I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Have you done something like that in the past?
No.
Okay.
which
Do
is
it,
which is
do
exactly
it.
why, because if I was in an equivalent position, I think the fear element would take over. But I always find it interesting that most creative or artists, it comes a time where you have to pick one or the other. So to have that level of self-belief is amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah, thinking back, I didn't realise how brave that was. Yeah, I probably would really question doing that now.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
back then I did that.
Please tell me you got the
Auditioned.
audition.
I got the audition,
Yay,
got into the
got the
company.
audition.
Yay! And then,
Paid
yeah,
off.
that started like this beautiful journey with this company called Boy Blue. I was like a company member, so we would train every week. And then when jobs would come up, we'd kind of audition in-house, or the choreographer would be like, okay, you suit that, and he'd kind of like delegate us out to different jobs. Yeah, and I was with them up until, I don't know, what, 2012, and then I think I ducked back in maybe for 1 or 2 odd jobs, and then the last time I danced with them was 2016 for like an anniversary show of Pied Piper, which was a show we toured with that won an Olivier Award. So that was really special. That was kind of like a nice like finishing point. I think that was the last time I danced.
And then you were like, then you walked away from it.
Yeah, well, I'd kind of been slowing down anyway, and to be honest, that kind of, I guess, goes into a heavier topic because my brother had his diagnosis with his brain tumour in 2010.
Yeah.
So from 2010 to 2012, like, I really slowed down.
Yeah,
So, yeah, he was unwell, and I'd had an accident. It was so weird, you know, when things synchronise strangely for the greater good. I'd had an accident on a dance job where I'd ripped out the ligament in my thumb, and I did that like 3 weeks before my brother's diagnosis. So I was in a cast and I didn't dance for 6 months because I had to have some serious hand therapy. But it was at the same time, so it was almost like I could be there the whole time my brother was going through that transition. Yeah, and then I remember like going back to dancing, I just found it really hard. And I had this really weird like sense of, I guess, what I've worked through now is like almost like a survivor's guilt type thing. So I would go and I'd just feel really sad as I was dancing, thinking my brother can't do all these things that he had lined up and dreamed about, and here I am living my best life, and I felt so much guilt about that. So I slowed right down, and then I think 2012 was like when I stopped dancing professionally, I'd say. And then every now and again, a couple of years, I'd get a phone call, can you step in for someone? And I'd be like, so I did very odd little things spread out. But then 2016, that was the last time I danced.
But I think since you started in 2006, you've had like a full decade of you getting everything that you kind of want out of it. But then I think it's also nice to acknowledge that when things come to a close and you're like, I've got everything out of it, I've felt everything I wanted to feel, and I'm like,
I've had all them beautiful moments.
I've had all of those beautiful moments, and now you kind of decide, okay, I want to try something new now. And then you found poetry.
Then I found poetry.
Talk to
So
us
if I
about
hadn't have stopped, then
if you hadn't stopped
wouldn't have-
dancing,
who'd know? I wouldn't
because then you
have
could
done this.
reinvest that time into pursuing something new.
And it's transferable skills, like you said, because you call them drills, which I've never heard a poet say drills, but
I've heard one other poet say
Really?
drills.
I really
Yeah.
drill, drill. Got to drill it, drill it, drill it.
it's like because
Dance,
I've
dance,
talked to
talk.
you, I've talked
But it is interesting because it's helped you as a poet using like language that you would associate with choreography and dancing and stuff.
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
To put that into your your poetry discipline.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why you're so good. Like I think the idea of routine, because when having the routine down, because also like with certain poems I've noticed you do use your hands for that one piece, with the hands. You remember?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, okay, kind of like the flow thing. But like I remember talking to you about memorizing pieces, and Hollie would say like do it enough that it's like in your bones.
In your bones.
Yeah, and like it's just in your like.
But it makes sense because like. Obviously, I'm assuming when you're dancing, especially if you're on tour, you're going to be performing in all sorts of venues, all sorts of different atmospheres, various levels of crowds. And then when you're bringing that knowledge and experience to poetry, it's like, the poetry needs to be in your bones, so we can plop you anywhere in the world, and you can perform here at this audience, at this venue, and it's fine. It's like normal.
There's so many things that I know that I've transferred, or like pieces of wisdom that I got from my choreographer, so Kenrick Sandy. He would give us these little like prep talks or words of wisdom with our training, and something that I always like hold so deeply when I perform, because like you say, you go to different venues, you have different crowds. So we've had this conversation about riding off everyone, kind of hyping you, and every now and again you might go to a venue where it's very like
stoic, and quiet,
and then everyone just claps you at the end, and it kind of catches you off because you're like, I'm used to being in London. It's quite like a vibey scene. If you come back to Essex, maybe it's a little bit more, I
think it just depends on where you perform, and the whole point is that you perform in enough places that you see the experience of what it's like in different places.
It's the same with the dance scene. We would take the show and maybe we'd perform in London. You've got like lots of the dance community will come and be screaming, shouting, cheering, and it would like really, really fuel you. But then we would go really far afield, I don't know, say we were in Sheffield or somewhere like that, and it was very quiet and then clapping. And you could see how everyone's energy kind of dropped a bit. And I remember Kenrick saying, you need to take the same energy, whether you need to hype yourself. You can't rely on the audience to hype you.
So whether you're performing 2 people, 20 people, 200 people, you have to bring your level of professionalism has to be the same.
Exactly, and that's so transferable for poetry.
Absolutely.
And I felt that, and I've heard him say it in my head. I'm like, oh, okay. So
this is what you meant.
This is what I've been taught and trained for, and I guess that's where the professionalism comes in. And you have to really dig deep sometimes for some events, but it's amazing. Even the events where you get no like reactive
positive reinforcement.
response.
Yeah.
The amount of people that will come up to you after and be like,
Yeah.
wow, that really resonates, and you're like, oh, I didn't think anyone enjoyed it because I'm used to.
Because everyone was sat there in pin drop silence.
Yeah,
When I-
everyone's
when-
listening.
Sometimes as a poet, I feel like if people are clicking, they're not really listening, because I feel like I've said a line which I don't think is, not that it's not great, but
There's other
I'm
ones
about to
that
say
are good.
something that
Yeah.
is going to be great, but then they react too early, and I just feel like and then there's times when I'm doing a poem and it's really quiet and I feel like they're not listening, but I know that they are. But I think it's important to kind of just know that there's some audiences aren't in tune like to the typical poetry audience, like so.
I think it's also different lines resonate differently.
Definitely,
So
yeah.
there's certain lines that you would perceive
Yeah.
would go down really well and it's completely lost on them. And there's other lines that you think, really? That one? And everyone's going mad for it. And you're like, okay, but you could perform the same poem in so many different events and venues and have sometimes exactly the same reaction and sometimes completely different ones. Like the Hollie, your intro poem of,
I
I'm
love
Hollie Dee.
I love the idea.
That
for the
is
intro poem.
universal everywhere.
Yeah.
So it
Even got me thinking, because I know you and Lay have intro poems, like I've written one, I've memorized it, I've forgotten it again, but it's like one of the influences, just like to even have. I think even Curly Waddy has one. I can't remember, but yeah, like I've taken that from. I've taken the page from you three in terms of having an intro
I
poem.
love that.
Yeah, so it's kind of cool. Like I think it's so inspiring and have it spread out. So what is like kind of your methodology or process when you're getting ready for a headline set or a public event, or even just a dance routine if you're doing something
Good
for
question.
movement?
I try where I can to have like, I say nothing, but as least as I can in the day. Maybe I have work, but I would try and like not, I don't know, overwhelm myself. Just try and like give myself space on the day of the performance, and then drill it. I would drill. So maybe like the week before.
in the run up to.
In the run up.
How long before do you start preparing?
I mean, at this point, I've got a few sets, and I can just like, I don't know, cut and paste what I want to put together. But I like to, I don't know, at least 4 or 5 days before I'll start, maybe drilling, and I'll time it. So I'll time it. I'll find the pieces. I'll work out the times. Then I'll kind of loosely set preambles in between.
Yeah.
Check the timing again. Because I always like to stick to whatever time I'm given. So I think sometimes it's easy, isn't it, to like get talking to people, or and then all of a sudden you're like 25 minutes and your set was 15. So I like to try and really, I don't know, break down.
I think that's one of the things about
preambles.
the level of professionalism. It's like if you've got 15 minutes, take your 15 minutes. You've prepared for it, and the audience will respect you for it.
Yeah, very true.
You know, and the thing is, to you, it's like, oh my God, it's 15 minutes. And to them, it's like, oh, I didn't even know 15 minutes had gone, you know?
Exactly.
And I think that those are one of the best feelings on both parts.
Just practice all the time. Like if I'm in my car driving somewhere, I'll look at my clock and then I'll start reciting it whilst I'm driving. There was a technique kind of, I remember from like my acting, like learning like drama and learning scripts and things, saying how there's something that happens in your brain when you're learning something but doing something at the same time.
Yeah.
That's definitely a
It has a name. I can't think of the actual technique, but that's something I would do. So if I'm like at work and I'd be typing up an email, I'd start like reciting. Or if I'm at home and I'm physically doing something, I'll say it out loud. And I think that's how you can kind of get into that space of it becoming like
in your
bones and being in flow, you know? Yeah. So you can be doing stuff, and again, but you could be anywhere then, can't you? Because you've practiced it in the car, you've practiced it in the shower, you've practiced it, I don't know, in the toilet at work, on your lunch break, and then you could be put anywhere and given a mic or not have a mic. You can kind of then just adjust wherever you are, which is pretty cool.
That's cool. Do you find, because obviously dancers go like, you count steps or beats or whatever. Does that influence?
Imagine you going 5, 6,
7,
7, 8.
8.
Here we go. But like, when you write, do you kind of write to a certain pace, or do you know it's a metronome? It sounds very technical, I guess.
It makes
No,
sense.
no.
Like, what is the rhythm that you're
Yeah, what is the
writing to in
Hollie
your
rhythm?
head? What is that? What is that sound?
That's so interesting. I love a good rhyming scheme.
I agree.
And I always like to rhyme in threes. That's something I've come to like see when I pull things apart.
To be fair, most of your
know.
rhyme schemes are in 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like.
I've
how
always
that
just
flows.
thought, I didn't know whether that was intentional or not, but I just thought that was just your thing.
I think it wasn't intentional. Now I've started to notice it.
Now you're like, no, I'm doing
Yeah.
it. I'm choosing to do it.
Yeah, I'm choosing to do it.
Yeah.
I think I've always had like a rhythm and pace to my poetry, and I think that comes again from like the dance background and having a rhythm. I like to feel the rhythm in my body when I'm sharing what I'm saying. But yeah, as for the rhythm just comes.
Yeah.
I don't really sit and overthink it. And a lot of my pieces, I don't sit and write. I'll kind of write them in my head, in my mind's eye, and then I'll say them out loud.
That's what Biggie does and
Yeah.
Jay-Z.
Really?
Yeah, they don't write. They just
Wow.
write it in their and Lil Wayne. They just write in their heads.
Yeah.
But you're also writing and editing at the same time.
Yeah.
So it's like you could get to however far you are into something and be like, oh, actually, I could swap that around, and you're mentally kind of edit it.
Yeah.
So by the time you actually write it down or properly perform it,
Yeah.
it's already been rehearsed.
Yeah.
Yeah. you've
I
kind of
remember
already
like
practiced.
writing Glue. I think Glue was the first piece that I wrote without writing it down, and I was walking back from the train station and I was thinking, oh, I feel like glue. I'm like I was thinking how I felt like I'm the glue holding everything together. And then I was like, oh, when people ask who are you who, I say, call me Glue, that's who. And I'm like, oh, that's quite nice.
Yeah.
Also
and then
got
I
a triple rhyme there.
Yeah, and then I repeated it, and then the next bit just came, and the next bit just came. And then by the time I'd done this 20-minute walk home, I was like, oh, I better write this down so I don't forget it. And then I write it after.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah.
And I guess with that kind of procedure, your poems are very phonogenic. I don't know if I've made that up, but like photogenic is with images, like
Yeah.
phono is like sound. So
Yeah.
to me, it sounds very phonogenic because that's why it does seem like there's a flow to it.
Yeah.
And also like just that line you said, kind of like you kind of messing with the grammar or the syntax, the word order, which is really cool.
Yeah.
In a way, that's like so that's what rappers do. So that's actually like
Wow.
in the vein of Biggie, Lil Wayne, and Jay-Z. So you're not in bad company.
No.
You know?
Not at all.
No, exactly.
But I
It's
think
like-
maybe that's how I memorise my poems as well, because I'm already saying it. It's already kind of there loosely, and then I'm just writing it down so I don't forget it.
Yeah.
Almost.
Yeah, but the thing is, the difference is that
anchoring
you're
it.
writing down the finished product. That's not your first draft, because you've already edited it up here.
Yeah.
Do you see what I mean?
Which is why I find free writing so
Liberating.
difficult.
Oh, it's difficult.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm like,
Interesting.
this is the
How
end.
come?
How can I start at the end? Like, for me, writing it down is when it's
the end,
finished.
Yeah.
So just to
when you're
free
starting
write-
like that, of course, you're reverse
Yeah,
engineering the
it's
process.
so- and it really hurts my brain, and I'm like, oh, I feel this resistance to it. I'm like, well, no, I need to like
You know
think
what, to be
it,
honest with
say
you,
it, then
yeah,
write it down.
I was the same with free writes. I used to hate them. Now, because just having the discipline of the prompt of something, like just think about this for X many number of minutes, and if you write something wicked, if you don't, you don't.
Yeah.
But the more you practice it, the better that you get at it. You become more comfortable with sitting with that idea for a period of time. So it's good.
Yeah, I always find free writes is, like when you've got a pen and you've not used it in a while and you're just scribbling till
Yeah,
the ink starts. I think that's what a free write is.
Warm
Like
up,
you just
warm
keep
up,
warming
keep
up,
doing that to
warm
like,
up.
yeah, exactly.
That's a metaphor, isn't it?
I'm not sure. Yeah, metaphorest. But yeah, it's kind of I kind of always I am quite resistant to free writes as well. Like I feel like I tend to write when I'm hit with inspiration.
Yeah.
So those poems that take like 10 minutes to write rather than the poems that take me like days to write. I don't feel the same way about the poems that took me 10 minutes to write.
I just think because energetically you're a bit more spent, isn't it? You spend more time figuring out what you're supposed to do with it than actually writing it,
Yeah.
isn't it?
For you, do some poems come quicker than others in terms of writing? Like,
yeah.
what is the quickest, and what is the
5,
longest?
6, 7, 8 poems.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go.
I'm just trying to think. Quite a few of my poems I've written in one flow, like one go. So like Glue was one I wrote straight away.
I love poems.
I like glue though. Like glue's
Yeah.
got this nice little like extended metaphor.
Yeah,
That's really nice.
I'm really
Yeah.
happy
think
with
you
that
like
one.
Yeah, I mean, you know,
Love
like,
extended
I'm
metaphor.
Very on
partial.
brand.
I'm very partial to a metaphor.
I wrote, I think Little Cup was a piece that's like a newer piece
Oh, cool.
about like heartbreak and healing and yeah, working through stuff. And I remember like I was crying as I was writing it, so it was quite like a,
Therapeutic.
yeah, really therapeutic. And that was one that actually I thought and wrote at the same time.
Okay.
So it was like one that was a bit different for me. So I was thinking and writing, and it was just one go, all the way down, done. So not too long, but yeah, that was done in one sitting, and I was like, that's finished. I think the piece that took the longest, but through like a fun way, was my alphabet poem.
Okay, yeah, because there's a,
Yeah, of
a
course.
thing.
Playing with like, yeah, A's and B's, and then trying to make it make sense. And that was very done in a cut and paste way. So I was just like scribbling down little ideas. And I'd often get ideas come to me as I was drifting off to sleep. And then I'd be like, pull myself back out, and then like
Yeah,
typing it down.
I think because you're not like you're not. I don't know if that lucid is the right word, but like you've allowed your brain to like turn off its internal monitor, and you're just like
Yeah.
writing something very imaginative or whimsical.
And I've learned about that just recently. Actually, I went to like a lucid dreaming retreat, and they call that space is like the hypnagogic state, and it's just between falling asleep and being awake. And they say that that's this real magical sweet spot where you can get any
Loads
kind of
of
information,
information,
whether
yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
creative ideas or
The software updates, the downloads.
the downloads, all of that. So you can do
You're
like these.
laughing, I'm serious.
No, you can do these meditations where you can like sit there in that space. It's really hard because normally we get there and then we're like bang, we're asleep.
yeah.
So it's learning how to sit there for a minute and then be able to pull yourself out. But I didn't realise that that's what I did with some of like the alphabet poem. I'm like, I got those lines when I was drifting off to sleep, and I was like, whoa, come back, wake up, like write it down, because you know you'll go to sleep and you'll forget it.
Yeah.
You won't remember when you wake up.
Yeah.
But it's a real sweet spot for like ideas and
It
inspiration.
is true.
Yeah.
What is like the most, like what is the line that is either like you're really proud of or like, well, I can't believe I wrote that, or that is a mad line I wrote, you know?
Oh wow. Cool, that's a good.
It's like picking
Question.
children, I know. Like your favourite child.
Of all my
killing
pieces.
your darlings is definitely
Yeah.
an editing thing.
If a line's hard, you can pick a poem.
I reckon there's a poem I don't share much actually, but it's
Ah, I like that.
a line that I really like. Let me think about it for a minute.
You go for it. Take your time.
What's your favourite line that you've written, Mel?
It's a line that I don't really share actually.
Oh, the same as well.
Yeah, that's why I like.
Pray tell.
So you may think I'm weird. I smile while I cry my tears. So
That's incredible.
yeah, that's a line in a poem that I don't really share. It's not even a finished poem. It's a incomplete poem.
Work in progress.
Yeah, but it's been in drafts for like the longest time. But
Yeah.
I just like that line. You may
I
think
feel
I'm
like
weird.
that-
I cry
that
when
would be
I
one
smile
that
when I
would
cry my
make-
tears.
That would be one that would make poetry book one.
Yeah, maybe for sure. I think a lot of
Oh.
stuff in drafts will make it to my book.
They would.
Yeah. so
Okay,
something like
I've got it.
What have you got?
So it's like a run. So remember, it's not your fault. Mental health care is underfunded, your pain management team are poor, and if I'm honest, I think Big Pharma has so much more to answer for because they're hooking people across the world, legally helping them to score, as aid they're masquerading when in truth they're perpetrating. I'm just so glad for many that thought is finally percolating.
Sick.
Yeah.
Is
how
that
I
from
feel.
the political piece?
No, that's
police
from-
piece?
Like a whole stanza.
Yeah, it's
That's
from
not even a line.
Proud. From Proud. So it's a piece I wrote for my brother about his. So obviously he's got his condition, but as a side effect of that, like addiction to medication, and how seeing it from this side of things, how I don't know, I have a real personal view on pharmaceutical companies.
Yeah,
And
'cause
how it's
obviously-
very like pushed on, and then the doctor's a bit like, oh well, if that doctor's giving you that, you obviously need it, and you're like, he's addicted and he's overdosing on this stuff, but you don't want to help him like come off it. But they're like, oh, it's because it's medication and it's pain meds and it's high. I don't know.
Yeah, big pharma is an issue in America. I think just because obviously I feel like it's always about money, not about
Yes.
the care of patients.
Yeah.
And
and
things
they
like
don't
that.
want to go deeper. It's like, we'll just give you another tablet and then another tablet. Oh, and then you've got
It's
side
just
effects,
selfish,
so we'll give you
isn't it?
another tablet.
Yeah.
And then by the end of it, like, yeah, my brother was on like 14 tablets a day at one point,
Yeah.
like way too much. And a lot of that he didn't need.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'd probably be like, oh, I've got this cocktail of everything. Yeah. But there's no difference with that kind of addiction to any other kind of addiction.
I feel like your brother is quite an important part of your poetry in terms of like why you do poetry or like
Yeah,
why you have the messages you have.
yeah.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
how
thank
how does he kind of like what is it about like his personality, or what does he do that inspires you to kind of write that kind of stuff?
He inspires me because, I don't know, just watching someone where all the odds are against them, just keep moving forward,
Yeah.
slowly but surely, just taking day by day. It's really inspiring. And yeah, I guess that's really when I first started writing, was me processing it as like a family member. I mean, I hear a lot of mental health poetry that I really connect with, but I've not really heard many people talk about it as like a loved one or a relative going through that. And sometimes it's just as painful to witness it
Yeah, for sure.
as it must be even more so to live through it. It's really difficult. So yeah, I think it inspires me in so many ways. Yeah, just how brave he is, and then how I want to share that message for the family members, for the sisters, for the loved ones. That yeah, we're going through it as well, alongside them.
I think personal pieces like that also are like what's the word, like touch points for people. Like I guess like if they know that someone on stage is kind of going through the same thing, they don't feel as lonely, or they feel like they can probably talk to you afterwards. Have you had like many moments where someone's come up to you after sharing a piece, and like what's the most like profound thing you've taken from on audience members, like comments or feedback?
Yeah. Oh, those moments are special when they happen, right? I'm sure you guys have had them as well, but
That's why you do what we do,
that's
right?
why we do what we do. One that really got me and actually made me quite emotional. Oh, there's two. I think the first time I performed at that little cafe to the 5 people, so 3 of my friends, the lady who ran it, and then a stranger. And I shared, what piece did I share? I think I shared Proud there. And this older guy was sitting there and he was very tearful, and he came up to me at the end. He's like, wow, that really moved me. He's like, I've gone through addiction and rehab. He's like, that was so beautiful. Like, thank you for sharing that. And I was like, wow, that was the first time I'd ever shared any of my poetry, and I had no concept that it would impact somebody. I thought I was doing it more for myself. Like, I want to perform and share my stories. I hadn't actually contemplated how that would feel, getting that kind of response from someone. So that really moved me. And then the most recent one was, I think it was at Poets Palace. And I was standing with George Lawrence. I'd done my little set. And then this lady came up and she's like, oh, hello, I just wanted to introduce myself. She said, I started writing because I saw your dressing gown people video.
I remember that video.
And she said, oh, I was so low, I was feeling so down. She said, and I came across, your short film on dressing gown people. She said, and I was so inspired. She went, and it made me want to write like you. And I was like, wow. I was like, have you shared anything? She's like, no. I write for myself. She said, I just wanted to tell you, like, I was in such a dark place, and you and that piece just really inspired me. And she left, and I got a little bit choked up, and George was like, wow, right? I'm like, yeah. Like, what more can you say?
That's like,
yeah,
I remember
super
that
cool.
poem, that's like it was like early pandemic. And I remember you were talking to me about doing the video for it, which is a nice segue into like your experience about filming was that your first poetry video?
Yeah, that was my first poetry video.
Like what went into the day? Like how did you feel about?
Oh, it was so much fun. And it was also really naughty because it was still that like weird space of like, we shouldn't be going out kind of thing. It was that weird grey area.
For all intents and purposes, that was filmed before the pandemic?
It was filmed, it was.
Before.
Oh no, it was in the gap. When we had that little like open gap bit.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, no, it was awesome. It was, I filmed it with a guy called Ryan Kerwin. I've tagged him in the video if you do watch it. It was so cool. So I'd come across him on social media, and he was doing show reels for actors, and I really loved the way he, like the colour grading of his.
Yeah, I've noticed it. Yeah, so like George does. I need to get on, get better.
There's just something about, I don't know, when you look at certain edits, and there's this colour grading that he did, and that was what really drew me to him. So I contacted him. I was like, oh, I've got this piece. It's about 60 seconds. It's not even that long. And he's like, oh, cool. We can do like an afternoon. So I met up with him, and I already had everything in my head. I knew how I wanted the camera, what I wanted to wear, how I wanted it to feel. I had the props, everything. I had it. I knew exactly how I wanted it to be. So when I turned up, I had all my stuff, had a little conversation, had a tea with him, and he's like, wow, okay, let's go. He's like, this is like easy for me. I said, but I want you to put your magic on it. So although I've got the vision of how I want it to be, I want you to then play with, can you make it a bit voyeuristic? Like, I don't want it to be a very like set camera angle. Can you kind of play about with that? And then obviously you edit it how you'd like to. And I was so amazed. So we literally did 3 takes.
Yeah, I was going to ask how many takes is it?
Yeah.
He did 3. I think he went with the first one.
Oh, really? So it's just like a run through, no cuts?
No, he did 1 cut at the end. Yeah, he just did 1 like cutaway at the end. So I wanted it to be like close up. So it was like conversational. Yeah. And then I think the last line I say is like, I hope someone will ask. And then he cuts out to like a wide view, and it's not just me having a chat. There's like wine bottles, takeaway stuff, like the house is trashed, to show like that dip between what you see versus like that grey area of depression. And he did such a good job. Like, I was so blown away. But
yeah, it's a really good video,
just 3 takes. We were done so quick. Even he was like, oh, I feel really bad. I normally would have you here longer. He said, but you really kind of had a vision of what you wanted. Then I got the edit back like a week later, and then he did some like little bit of music at the end, and just some little like fine touches that I loved, and that was it. I didn't want it re-edited. I was like, I'm happy.
Yeah, that's cool.
Nice.
Yeah, there's something. There is a lot. There's magic that you capture, but the magic is also in the edit as well. And like it's funny. Like sometimes I feel like I'm filming mess, and then it just becomes it just all comes together in edit. Yeah. So I do get the idea of it being magic as well. And yeah, I mean, have you thought about doing some more content for your own platform?
I'd like to. I think that's a goal this year, to do a little bit more. I really enjoyed that.
Because obviously you had people come up to you saying like they watched that video, and people come up to you saying that they've seen your poetry on stage. So like, imagine how many people you could reach when you put more out and stuff like that. That'd be really cool. Yeah.
It's like a business coaching session. I like this.
I'm sure.
Making notes.
Charlie's got all the gems, as well. Like Charlie's been like giving me, like, I've just been like taking it on board as well. Like, I need to do my LinkedIn as well. It's still my corporate one. I need to like erase all of that, put all my poetry stuff on.
You need to update regularly.
Yeah. Have you? What's your LinkedIn? Is it poetry focused or teacher focused?
I mean, it's pretty much everything on there.
Yeah, really. Oh yeah. Okay. Just see what sticks. Just throw everything out there.
Everything out in there in the window. We'll see. All of that kind of thing. So you get stuff that's more educational, academic based, but you can get stuff that's more creative based as well. Just depends. Yeah,
for sure. I always feel like that might be another thing. Like, how do you guys deal with like imposter syndrome as well? Because I like to ask creatives about it, because I think people watching who are creatives have it too, especially if they're about to embark or are currently embarking on a journey. Yeah, and obviously you've written books, you've done festivals and headlines, like, with, and obviously there's a certain amount of experience that you guys have accumulated. Like, what's from your experiences like helped you get through that?
Such a good question. Do you want to go first?
I need a minute. I think I need a minute.
Let's have a minute of silence. Imposter syndrome's a thing. I don't know.
I know one of. I don't know if it's imposter syndrome to a different scale, or feeling things in a different way. I think one of the things is like practicing really helps from a confidence level. So as soon as I know that I'm performing somewhere, preparation starts almost immediately, because I know it will take me a long time to get it into your bones. Okay, you know, you it takes a week. Some of us it takes a little bit longer. Do you know what I mean? And I think so. That's one element, which is the writing, the editing, the picking the poems, the memorizing the drills, all of that. I think is one thing. I think there's one other side of it, which is like not being seen or heard in terms of representation. And I think in more recent years that's cropping up more and more. This year I've had the privilege, I've been really lucky of being in more like South Asian spaces where it feels a little bit more feel a little bit more seen, feel a little bit more heard, feel like okay, this is a thing. So that I don't know if that completely counteracts that, but that's definitely
a step in the right direction.
A step in the right direction. Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, I feel like there needs to be more platforms. Like I think there's quite a few South Asian platforms at the moment. Whereas like I think
we've got a long way to go, but we're getting there. We're getting there.
For sure.
I think I don't know what it. There's no like set solution. Yes, it could be that we need more platforms. Maybe more places need to be more inclusive. I don't know. It's so hard to kind of figure out what the right thing is. But I think over time we'll see how it's evolved. It's definitely grown since I've first started. And hopefully we're moving in the right direction towards stuff like that. So
Thanks for sharing that. It's like a whole different perspective that I wouldn't have considered. So that's really, really relevant.
I do feel like preparation is one way to kind of counteract it. Also like just the idea of like it's in your head, like no one's saying it but you. So that's the thing. Is I
think talking about it helps because you need to break the pattern of your own thinking. So when you are stuck on stuff, you can ring another creative, another poet, and be like, "Hey, I've got this thing." And I think it also depends where you're at in your career and what you're doing and that kind of thing. Like if you've never done a headline before, or you've never performed at a festival, or you've got a mishmash of all these different things that you've never done before, it's also important to acknowledge that it's okay if that's your first time. You don't really know what you're doing. Exactly. Being a beginner is wonderful because you don't have to go in with all these set rules and expectations that normal people would have. At the same time, it's kind of nice to figure it out as you go along. It's nice to have someone give you a heads up on certain things. And I think for a lot of the stuff that I've done or I've been through, I've kind of been the first one or the only one. Okay. So when I'm going through it, it's like you don't necessarily have that. So I think it depends on where you're at in your career. And it's different as you get more experienced or a little bit more knowledgeable as you go along. Because your creative path is constantly changing. It grows with you. So you just never know what's around the corner, and that is wonderful.
There's things there like when I've done something without thinking, and I didn't even think about whether I was good enough to do it. I would just from either desperation or that of passion. So sometimes you can just bypass that just by pure
that's
excitement.
True. I think the passion, the excitement of like I get to do this can completely overwhelm any sense of nervousness or of like I don't know if I'm good enough for this. Why am I in this space? Any of those kind of thoughts or questions that you would have, you can blow them out the water with that level of passion and be like, well, no. If I'm the only person, if this is the only thing to do it, then you want to bring that level of professionalism to wherever you perform.
Yeah, and off the back of what you just said as well, like self-love, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
absolutely.
Because the only one telling you those things is yourself. So
Yeah.
it's like digging deep and looking at your self-worth and knowing that you are worth
If you've
these
been asked, if you've been asked,
yeah,
that's it.
Exactly.
That's it.
And even if you haven't been asked and you want to do it, then go to an open mic and just be
Again,
brave.
I think even like going back to
Put
that
yourself
groove
in that
verse thing,
space.
but even if when you first started going, even if you didn't know that you wanted to headline or feature or whatever, just being in the environment was enough. Like, this is so
Yeah, it's so
exciting, this is so much
Yeah.
fun. And then to get to do that off the back of it, that's like the bonus thing. So I think sometimes setting it you're measuring it in a different way. So it's not necessarily that I have to get this in order for me to feel like it's successful.
Yeah.
It's having, okay, yeah, maybe I didn't get to do that thing, but I met this whole different creative group of people. Or, you know, you find different points of feel like, oh, you know, I still learnt a lot, or I still
Yeah.
experienced a lot.
It took me a while to even perform. I went to open mics for like,
we're still trying to get you to perform more.
yeah. Like I think I went to like maybe 4 or 5 open mics before I started performing. I don't know why, but I was definitely filming because I was just curious and stuff. And I've always wanted a YouTube channel. And passion again, like just takes you. It took like just the commitment of like. So I promised myself in 2020 to upload a video every week without fail, and it doesn't have to be good. It doesn't have,
polished,
yeah, it just has to be a video.
It just
Yeah.
needs to be a video.
And you can start from like, and this is what's so important about starting, because no one starts from 100, everyone starts from 0. So imposter syndrome is not even a thing, because like you're going to start from somewhere and you're going to just get better every time you do it. And it's all about just being good.
At that time.
It's not that you're not good, it's not you're not good yet.
Yeah.
So
Embrace being a beginner. I think we're scared. We always think we have to be going in at a certain level of whatever it is in our life. So yeah, embrace being a beginner. And I love that you set yourself that like
and
that
I've
task.
not broken it, and I feel like a bit
But
anal
the
about not
consistency,
uploading at least once
the
a week.
consistency of that as a discipline completely overwhelms anything.
Yeah, for sure. And consistency will get you over the hump when your
100%.
passion like burns out.
Like when
And
you're
then
like,
your
I'm
passion will
tired,
build
I
up
don't want to
again.
edit,
Yeah.
I really can't be bothered.
I've got to do this.
But you got to do this.
It's like the same when you go gym or something. you know,
Yeah,
you
I
just gotta
think
do it.
there are certain things, and maybe this is true across just generally speaking, but I definitely think as a creative, there has to be some core things that you have to do every day, every week, every month, something to keep that level of balance and stability. And I think, if you started to feel yourself drop off, you'd notice instantly of like, oh, why do I feel like this? Do you know what I mean? And the people that, you know, watch it would be like, hey, why hasn't Bear dropped anything in like 2 weeks? What's happened?
If I don't drop a video, it's because I'm on holiday. Like, I can afford a holiday. But yeah, even if I did go on holiday, I would have scheduled something so that I don't have to like upload it.
It'd be
Autopilot. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So yeah, it's good to just give yourself
Grace.
grace period. So like I never kind of give myself a timetable for creative projects. I started off, well, basically the longer you work on something, the better it will be, right? So as long as you start it, like maybe give a provisional deadline, but it's not to finish it. It's just to see to just check where you are in the process.
Oh yeah, I think it's more check-ins, isn't it? You just have designated timelines where you're like, okay, at 3 months or at 6 months, where are we at with
And
this?
you're still getting things
Still-
aligned.
yeah.
And at some point, like especially with like editing and stuff, or like there might be better technology later on in the year,
Yeah,
or
that's true.
that will help you solve a problem, or you might meet someone in that time that has like an insight into something.
Yeah, we see a different style, different trend.
Just give
whatever.
yourself time, and time is kind of, so it feels like when you do drop it, like right,
It will land
like
different.
Hollie or Shani's dropped another book, or John Meta has sorry, that's my government name. Meta's dropped another event, but it's because it's all gone on in the background, and like no one sees that. People only see the final thing, where people don't see the process of things, and obviously with social media, people think that things are turned around in a day. Exactly. Yeah.
Which I think is also one of the reasons why it's important to document the process, because then people know that what they're seeing isn't
Yeah, for sure.
You know, it's not just the final product. It's like how many hours of writing and editing and practicing until you get to this stage. Yeah, so I think it's like a falsely held belief. It's like, oh yeah, this is just how it is. It's like, no, it's not.
Yeah.
And if there's enough people saying the same thing, hopefully, you know, it will resonate and people will be like, no, you know, like it is a lot of hard work. We can't deny that.
That's true. Yeah. Is there anything that you guys want to still kind of achieve in your careers? Like, what's like one of the last few things you kind of want to do?
That's a really hard question.
I like giving the hard questions.
Oh, I'm ready for this question. I did some work on this the other day, actually.
Oh, cool.
I sat with, you know, Poems from My Heart.
Oh,
Angela.
yeah,
Angela. We got
Angela.
together and she, we were writing down like a list of like, if anything was possible, like what would you want to achieve? So this is fresh for me. Book.
Nice.
Book.
We want a Hollie Dee book.
Which I can help with.
Yes, thank
Yeah.
you.
What would it be called?
Doesn't have to have a title. We can have a working
Sorry,
title.
no, I'm just
No, it
asking
has
if
a
there is a
title.
title.
I'm like, do I want
I
to
just
share
okay, cool. No, I'll get the exclusive out of course.
No, it would be called Shining a Light on the Beautiful Struggle.
Sick.
That's going to be the title. Yeah.
It's very you.
Thank you. My friend actually gave me that. I remember years ago when things started to kick off, I'm like, oh, I need a bio. And I was like, I can't write about myself. And I've got this dear friend called Sadie. She's so good with words. She is a poet
Okay.
in herself. She's a photographer, creative. And I was like, can you help me just write a bio? I said, it just needs to be how many words. And I'm really struggling. She sent me back this beautiful bio. And she wrote in there, shining the light on the beautiful struggle. And I was like, wow, like that.
That's the name of my first collection. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks.
Thanks for the bio.
I will credit you.
I also just want to say that it's universally acknowledged that we all hate writing our own bios.
I hate my bio stinks.
Oh, you need to
think
get someone else to write
Well,
it for you.
I think it's
such
better.
a thing.
I think it's better. You'd think it's writing down all of your knowledge, your experience, even the stuff that you've done. There's like, yeah, I've done these things, and someone's like, you missed this, and this.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
that's just getting started.
You're
So
right.
I think, yeah, when it comes to bios and stuff, it is useful to get more than one person.
So
You'll
yeah.
get a really good range.
Have you guys thought about like an audio project? Would you guys do that?
Yeah, I'd like to.
Yeah.
I'd like to.
I
'Cause
think
you
yeah,
like music and
if
great
the
vibes.
if the
Yeah.
poetry collection was also an audiobook, then it
It'd
could
be
be
really
more
cool.
spoken word style.
Yeah, that's a really cool idea. Blend the two together.
Blend the two together.
Yeah, I also would really like to do some voiceover work. I've got a voice. Yeah, I've
need
done
to
my
lean in on
voice
that.
reel.
You need to lean in
Yeah,
on
I've got a voice reel done. I just haven't fired it out yet. You know that, again, imposter syndrome. I was there and I was like, oh, I'm having some self-talk with myself. Like, you're worth this. Just send it out. See what happens.
It's one of those ones. It's better to just send it out and see what happens.
Yeah, exactly. Just like it's
Just
done.
send it, it's
out
done.
in the universe.
And you might
now.
even forget that you sent it out, and then like a year later they'll be like, "Oh, we just got your thing. Like,
Yeah.
would you want to do like the next Marvel movie?" Or
Yeah.
something like that? Yay!
Oh, wouldn't that be
Hollie Dee's
amazing?
gonna get her James Earl Jones. I love it. Here for it.
So yeah, those were. I mean, I had a big long list, but yeah, the book, some audio, and some more footage. I'd love to do some more like short films, poetry short films,
that'd be cool.
and then voiceover. I'd love to really lean into that as well. So they're up there for me.
Yeah. What about you, Shani? Would you do audio?
I think book 3 is still too far up on the agenda for anything.
Have you got a name for book 3? Yeah.
No,
Okay.
no. Audio stuff I'm not sure about. I'm leaning more towards more visual than audio,
I think okay. Yeah.
but I still think there's a lot in there that's can be very performance based.
Okay.
So yeah. What about you?
Me. Okay. Book. Definitely
Book
that.
1,
Yeah. Book 1. Haiku book.
book 2.
Yeah. And then I
Oh,
wanted
well,
to.
I've already decided your back catalogue. Keep talking.
Also, okay, so I've kind of started something in motion with a couple of, well, I've talked to 2 so far, about doing an audio project, but it's not like for Spotify or anything because I don't know how that would go. Because obviously when money's involved, then like that's a bit like
It complicates life.
complicates thing. So I just told them that it will be on YouTube, but it's gonna be like an audio central video.
Nice.
So basically, it will just be a collection, an anthology, I guess, of poets, just with central poems, and there'll be like an A and a B side. So there'll be an animation of a tape.
Cool.
Yeah.
This is so cool.
Yeah.
I mean, or if you could even have
So working on that.
videos of the poets performing them.
Oh yeah, I could do. I wanted to like focus on the voice.
On the voice
so
element.
no visuals. So it would just
Yeah.
be a cassette.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
just
Um,
pure audio.
Or audio, yeah, because I think because I am actually ASMR sensitive, so I love
Yeah.
the idea of like sound and stuff. So I
Yeah.
kind of just wanna, yeah.
That's an awesome idea.
I don't know, but
So
I think it's really important. Like, one of the unique things about everyone's voice is
Yeah.
identifiable.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, if we walked into an event and you heard someone's voice, depending on obviously how much you know of people
Yeah.
and their
Like,
material
I'd know
and their
your
content.
voice. I'd
Do
know
you see what I
Hollie's
mean? You'd
voice.
know, oh my god, that's
Yeah.
so and so and that's so and so.
I definitely know when Rohan is speaking. Like he's
There's a like
Shout
when
out to
you
Rohan.
when I've been to events and someone's recently released like an EP or some like a new song or whatever, and they play that, you know who it is. And I think that's really beautiful that everyone has their own kind of level of distinction.
Yeah, I'd love to like if I ever had enough money, I'd like to build up a catalogue like RVJ and They Speaks.
When you have enough money,
When.
speak it into
I
existence.
think you've
If
got a
anyone
bit. I
has-
think you've got enough of a catalogue. You've got a whole archive sitting there
Yeah, no, I do.
of everyone.
Everyone, but I want my own catalogue. I want my
Your
own
own
stuff. Exactly. So if anyone knows any good bank heist strategies, like or blueprints, like collar,
Any angel investors?
yeah, hedge funds,
investors.
hedge funds, any insider trader info. So yeah, book. Trying to think of what else is there.
The
Audio stuff, yeah, audio project. Have you guys got anything going on at the moment that you're working on that you want people to know?
Just trying to think. I'm performing at. So there's a new magazine release called The Road to Nowhere, and they're performing. They've published 3 of my poems, so they're doing a launch night on the 8th of September. So I'm going to be reading those poems there.
Just a day before Haroon's.
A day before Haroon's, so back-to-back gigs is going to be interesting. So 9th of September, Haroon has got the launch party of his first poetry collection book called Press Play, which I was the first editor for. And so I'll be reading whatever he wants me to read on the night. And then the following week, the 15th of September, Rohan is running an event in High Wycombe called Coffee and Clicks.
Coffee and Clicks.
And and I'm going to be performing there as well. So that's just kind of upcoming stuff that I'm working on.
Cool, sick. I forgot one more thing to ask. Was like, I mean, you told me already off camera, but the medicine festival when you were with like Hey R, Curly Wordy, Lele Grooves, like that was really fun, right?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
fun. So much fun.
So like you want to explain how that festival works to people if they want to go to it?
Yeah, medicine festivals. It's like a conscious, alcohol-free, high vibes festival with loads of workshops. So everything from like, I don't know, yoga, womb healing, men's circles, so very like spiritual based. Did a sound bath every day.
Yeah.
It's like gonged up to the max. Beautiful, beautiful event. So you had all these workshops during the day, and then in the evening you had like fireside jams. So people would come and sit around the fire all wrapped up, and you'd have like acoustic guitarists, singers, and they had a main stage with all these amazing artists, like medicine music kind of genre.
Cool.
It was really, really cool, and it was just so happened that quite a few of the poets were there, so it was nice to
That's
meet
cool. Did you
up
guys
with
plan that, or
everybody.
that just was a coincidence?
I think it was a coincidence / plan. So I knew I was going from last year because I missed last year. I was like, I have to go this year. I think Haya went last year, so said she was going again. Adisa was there. He was hand poke tattooing, so he was there like semi-working and enjoying. Then Curly came because said that we were going. So it was kind of everyone just kind of came together. It was really nice, and I we all jammed together, danced together, but I sat down, did some writing, some free writing with Haya and my friend Alex. I was like, right guys, I hate this, let's go. So yeah, we did some free writes. And I don't know if it's because of the space I was in and I'd done these workshops, I was more open and more relaxed, but it was the first time I was able to actually write something in the 5, the 8 and the 10 minutes that we did. And we were like, excuse me, stranger, can you give us a prompt? So we were like doing it really like, I don't know, free flowing. It was lovely.
Oh, that's beautiful.
But yeah, amazing festival. So it's, like the 17th, 18th, 19th, it'll be the same next year. So I highly recommend it.
Yeah. Where is it in the UK?
It's it's near Reading.
Okay.
Near Reading.
That's cool.
So yeah.
You didn't bring your hand pan?
Do you know, I've still got my 2-seater smart car. I couldn't fit it in the boot. I had like an 8-man tent. It was like 10 handpan, 10 handpans. So yeah, I couldn't take my handpan. There were loads of people to instruments.
Yeah.
I was at one fireside jam and everyone was just kind of going around sharing. So somebody was singing on the guitar and then they were like, anybody else want to share? And this guy was like, I'd like to share. And he got out this violin and started playing this violin. And I was like, wow. And then someone next to him then got out a cello and I'm like, wow.
Why are they bringing out like the orchestral?
Yeah, I was like,
like
how and where did you bring that? Have you been carrying that with you? Because obviously it's like quite a big venue, like in this forest. So he's been carrying a cello around, like that's dedication.
If someone brought a piano, that would be even like,
and there's me going, oh, my handpan's a bit too big to take. And the universe is like, this person's bought a cello, so maybe next year.
How did you get into handpans though? Like, who gave you one, or did you buy one?
I bought one. I randomly found it, I think when I started doing sound healing, and then I was on YouTube looking at different sound healing things, and I came across a handpan. I'm like, what is this instrument? It was just so like different and magical and ethereal and just, yeah, really.
Ethereal is a nice word.
Yeah, it was just there's something different about it sound-wise. And then I found some workshops in London. So I went and did like 2 weekend workshops it was like in Clapham somewhere. Yeah. And when we went, the guy who held it had all these handpans. So he said, you know, just tap them all and see what one sings to you, because they're all individually made, so they're all in different keys. There's never one handpan will be the same as another. And they're quite special instruments. Yeah, it takes the maker like 2 weeks to make one from scratch, and it's all like hand hammered.
Yeah,
and
I've
all
seen
tuned
videos.
by ear, like. Blew my mind. So this one handpan I fell in love with, and it was the one that sounded the happiest. Because they're normally in like a minor scale, and this one was like ding. I was like, oh. So I had this handpan. It's a smaller one. Then when I went back 2 months later, he still had it there, and he's like, oh, your handpan's still here. And I was like, my handpan? He's like, yeah, you were the first person to play it. It was a new one I'd literally just picked up at the last workshop. I was like, okay. And I sat there with it, and I was like, oh, I love you. You're still here. So yeah, I treated myself to a handpan, and I love it. It's just such a beautiful instrument, so forgiving, and anyone can play it and it will sound amazing.
Does it have a name?
Oh no, I call it my flying saucer.
Oh, okay, because it looks like a saucer.
Yeah, it's like a little flying saucer.
Okay.
I'm like, let me get the flying saucer. But no, I should name it really.
Yeah.
Give it a name.
Do you think you'd incorporate it into your like poetry?
I tried.
Or your performance?
It was an epic fail. I'd literally take my hat off to anyone who plays an instrument and sings, or plays an instrument and recites, because it's hard.
Yeah.
Well, you get someone else to do it, and you perform
Oh, yeah,
like
you can have your friend
groovers.
tap it.
True,
Yeah.
very true. But I did try to do it myself, and I was
Okay.
like, I can
Practice
either
it a bit more, and yeah, you bring yourself up to speed.
speak or I could play. As soon as I did it together, like I forgot the words, I would be
like,
out of time.
Where was I? Where was I?
Yeah, it's really difficult. It's such a skill.
You develop an appreciation for people like pianists. Like, I don't know how you play with one hand and then play the other, like on a piano. Like, I find that hard. And then some people do that while singing as well, and tapping your foot on the pedal for.
Yeah, my friend's a drummer.
Yeah,
I let
so
him.
it's
It was
crazy.
funny. He was playing it and he was still like tapping his foot whilst he was doing all the rhythms. I was like,
That's
"You're
so
right there." He's
cool.
like, "Oh, I just need
Yeah.
to keep my."
Keep your momentum going, isn't it?
There's a couple of poets that play instruments. So like, I know Zara plays the drums, and then there's a poet called Diamond Bevel who has a xylophone.
Yeah.
He brings his xylophone on, and he freestyles as well. So that's amazing, man. Like, poets are just amazing.
And his,
Oh yeah, he's
guitar.
flutes, guitar,
decent
drums
flute,
as well. Yeah, he's
Yeah,
very
so cool.
fluent. in the music and the vibes. But yeah, that's actually cool. I'm trying to figure out if there's anything else I've left out for this because I want everyone to get to know you guys better. Is there anything you want to volunteer information-wise that people don't know about you?
I think I already have. I think I already have.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like Holly, have you always been blonde? Have you dyed it purple?
I've had every hair colour.
I was
I
going
used
to
to
be
be.
someone who's had a lot of hair transformation.
I used
Blue
to be
hair.
a hair model. So when I came out
really?
of dance
Yes.
college, to make my money in between jobs, I'd go and be a hair model. So you'd
Come
get
on.
paid, but you sit on the stage and be like, oh. So my hair used to be like cropped really, really short.
Oh, really?
I used to have a
Okay.
crop, and it used to be red, purple, black, every colour.
Oh, okay.
I'd have like long bits and I'd have a mullet. I used to come home. My partner would be like, I'd have a hood on, and he'd be like, "How was your day?" And I'd be like, "I don't really want to talk about it." And then he'd like show me, and I remember just pulling like my hood off. And I'd always have really cool, like, you know, like when, I don't know if you remember, like the hair magazines you'd flick through, they'd have
Yeah.
really cool, like
Crop
spiky
pixie,
cropped, and
yeah.
it would look amazing. But in reality, to like maintain that,
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
that's
I
a
just
skill.
looked like somebody had just hacked at my hair. Like it looked good on the day, on the
Yeah, of
stage,
course.
doing my little catwalk and like my.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Someone
But
else
the
has styled
aftercare
it
is
for
long.
you. You
Yeah.
don't have to maintain
Yeah.
it
And then it
yourself.
would grow out, and it would take like 3-4 months
Yeah,
to
there's
grow
a
out. Oh,
icky like
Yeah.
transitional
Between bits,
page
innit?
yeah,
had
stage.
some
sorry.
haircuts. So this is the longest it's ever been.
Really?
Yeah, because I used to have it so short. So I'm
Okay.
on this thing now of like it's my own hair. I'm just going to keep growing.
Yeah, that's cool.
Because it's yours.
Yeah.
You
I
can.
used to just cut it all off.
And how about the beads on your hair and the feathers? Like, how long did that take?
Oh
No,
an
that's not your hair.
earring.
It's your earring. I thought that was on your hair. I thought you braided. Okay.
That would
that's-
be cool, wouldn't
yeah,
it?
Sorry, that's an earring.
This
guys.
is an earring. This can come
Sorry,
in and
I
out.
thought that was okay.
But no, my natural hair colour is like a mousy brown.
Okay.
Like
Yeah.
my roots are like my hair colour.
Okay.
But I've normally been quite ginger. This is like the blondest I've been. But yeah, I like to experiment.
That's cool. See, look.
I'll find you a photo and make
Yeah,
you
yeah.
scream.
I might put it here if Holly gives it to me in time. Just like put it on screen, a photo of Holly. Do you guys want to plug yourself before we end the podcast? And anything that you got
Yeah.
going on?
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
what you got coming up?
what have I got coming up? I have, in 2 weeks, I'm performing at Love Jam Campau, which is a festival. Another like conscious, sober, high vibe festival. That's in, where is that? I have to find out the venue. I can't remember where it is. I've been to so
It's
many.
in this year or next year?
This year, so it's in 2 weeks' time. So it's on
Okay.
like from the 7th or 8th of September. So for that weekend, I'm going to be performing spoken word poetry, maybe with some music, which I'm quite excited about. And then I've got a gig in Southend in October. I'm just waiting for that to be confirmed, but that looks quite fun, something local. Yeah, and then just my Instagram at holliedee.poetry, and I
And that'll be
post
on the
everything on
bottom.
there. Yeah.
I like to put it at the bottom, guys. And then
Hey.
Charney,
Well, I mean, I've kind of already talked through all the stuff that I've got going on, but
book 3 on the way.
book 3 on the way, pending.
Third time's a
But
charm.
if you wanna buy my first 2 collections, yeah, you can contact me at Gill Poetry on Instagram
At the bottom of the screen.
and at the bottom of the screen. Meta, what about you? What are you up to?
The best way is to just go into my Instagram or my YouTube, the Metaforest, the metaphor with a PH, EST at the end, and just go into my link tree, but also Poetry and Shibs in October, Poetry and Shibs in March 2024, where we'll have our first headliner. And then obviously in October as well, this would have passed, but we will have Shades themed Poetry and Shibs. Yeah, so if you win that, you get a free entry to the March event. And yeah, like more windows to the spirits from September to December. We've got JC.C for September, Trees with Roots in October, Tiffany in November, and Hummus in December.
Wow.
That's incredible.
Click, click, click. And then we'll scratch that with Niloufar and Janice.
Yeah.
And then maybe more scratched up next year. So that's it. So
Stay
a lot
tuned.
of things.
Stay
Stay
tuned.
Stay tuned. We love you guys. Stay safe and enjoy the
Bye.
sun, please. Okay. Woo.
Yay.
Yay. My pins and needles was.
Me too. I was like, ugh.
Ooh, I can't even
Getting
stand.
numb.
Ooh, my leg's gone wobbly.